and each group must have enough resistors and capacitors to make one large and one small circuit. Okay, what is the maximum number of groups that could work on this lab project? So let's exclude that for a moment here and just sort of like focus in on what it's saying. So a large circuit, can you tell me what it uses? If you need to go back and read it, what does a large circuit use?
4 resistors, 2 capacitors.
2 capacitors, yeah. And then a small circuit, what does it use?
3 resistors, 1 capacitor.
Yes. Okay. And so the idea is that like let's just pick numbers. Like let's just say 30 large and 20 smalls. Okay. Actually, that's way too big. Let's do 10 large and 20 smalls. Okay. So if you did 10 larges, how many resistors will you use for the 10 larges?
40.
40. And how many resistors from the smalls then will you use?
60.
60. Okay, but now let's check the capacitor side. 10 of the smalls are 10 large capacitors, that would be 20 capacitors. And over here would be 20 capacitors. And you can see that on the resistor side, like 40 and 60 are good, but 20 and 20 is 40, and you have 70 available. Okay. And so the idea is like, well, which one, since they have to have both, okay, like this isn't kind of the right, now we go to the actual problem here. It says they have to make both. So it can't be 10 and the best it could be would be like 10 and 10, for example. Okay. And so one approach here is to build a table. Okay. And that's kind of what we're doing here. With the 10 and the 10, we've already got that done. So it'd be like 30 resistors and 10 capacitors. Okay, but our total would be 40 and 30, that's 70, 20 and 10, that's 30 capacitors. So do we have room left over? Like, have we used up all of our resistors and all of our capacitors?
There's still some left.
There's still some left, yeah. So we could increase the number, but we can't increase it too much. Like, let's make it 15 and 15. And see, we're guessing and checking here. We're not trying to write some equation, that would take too long. 15 times 4 is 60, and then that's 30, and then 15 times 3 is 45. But the problem is 60 and 45 is too many resistors. So see how we kind of sandwich the answer. We know it's smaller than 15, but it's bigger than 10, but it's closer to 15. Okay, so maybe we try 13. Okay, so 13 times 4 is 52 resistors. 13 times 3 is 39 resistors. And that's 91. I think we still have some room. So let's try 14. And it's an iterative approach. You just keep trying until you get something within reason. So 14 times 4 is 56 resistors. 14 times 3 is 42 resistors. And that's just enough for this. Now, if you're wondering, like, why didn't we like look at the capacitors? You probably noticed that they were much smaller. Like, even when we had, I think I picked like 10 and 20, we weren't even close to using up the capacitors, but the resistors were getting used at a much faster clip. So that's why you focus on the one that's a little bit larger. Any questions on that?
No, it's starting to make sense now.
Okay. I don't see any more like that, but let me just, those are the more difficult ones. Let's look at one of these. Let's look at some of these. I think looking at these word problems could be good because they're one of your strengths is kind of the analysis of the words and knowing what they're asking for. And then we'll just piece that together with some math here. All right, so new problem here. Again, the words don't really matter, but you can, you can just shorten them up. In 1855, a person traveled from Sacramento to Portland and stopping to rest for only 10 hours of the 143 hours it took him to reach Portland. Okay. And so it's saying it was 143 hours, but there was 10 hours of rest. So 133 hours of travel time is what that means to me.
Mhm.
So, and it goes on to say, if his average speed while traveling without resting was 5 miles per hour, how many miles did the person travel? Do you remember the only equation that's needed for distance on the exam? There's only one equation.
I don't remember.
Distance is rate times time. That's the only equation you need to remember. That's usually not given on this test, or maybe it's in the beginning, but you wouldn't go back and look. Now, are they giving you the rate? Are they giving you the distance? Are they giving you the time in this problem?
The time.
Okay, the time is 133 hours, not the 143.
Mhm.
What about the rate? Is that given?
Yeah, it's the 5 miles per hour.
Yes. So that is literally the end of the problem, because you take the rate, multiply by the time. Notice if you multiply by 143, that answer is also in here. So you have to be really careful to pick the right number.
Mhm.
So why don't you give that, go ahead and multiply if you got calculator handy. See what you come up with.
Letter A.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so sometimes they do give you the equation, and that's sometimes is helpful. See that here in this problem. Here we go. Here it says a manufacturer shipped units of a certain product to 2 locations. Okay, so the equation above shows the total shipping cost T in dollars for shipping C units to the closer location, F units to the further location. If the total shipping cost was 47,000 and 3,000 units were shipped to the farther location, how many units were shipped to the closer location? Any idea how to start this problem, or maybe you've seen this type before?
Um, do you plug it into the equation at the top?
Yes, you almost always use the given equation. Now, to use the given equation, you need 2 of the 3 variables. Are you given 2 of the 3 variables?
Um, wait, yes.
Okay, which 2 of the 3 are you given?
You're given the total, which is
Agreed.
$47,000.
Agreed. What else are you given?
And then C is the units, so it's 3,000 units.
Is C 3,000? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So F units to the farther location, the units were shipped to the farther location.
Oh, okay, so F. Okay.
Yes. Now, it might be the case that you get a nice number in both cases, but uh, here I think, so now, so just to be clear, this is T, sometimes good to indicate that, and this is F.
Mhm.
Like you to solve this for C, please.
I got C is 2,200.
Yeah, I agree. I think pretty sure that's correct. It's 47,000 equals 5C plus 12 times 3,000. So that's 36,000. And when you subtract, you get 11,000 equals 5C. Divide by 5 to get 2,200. Very good. Okay. Not too bad, right? Like when the equation is given, you're probably going to use the equation. Not always, but that's, pretty good. Pretty good assumption here. So let's look at another problem like it, where they give you the equation. Sometimes it's not at the top, of course. It could also be embedded inside the problem. Snip this down here. All right. So go ahead and read this one and see if you can figure out what it's asking for.
It's asking for the density of zinc in grams per cubic centimeters.
Okay, which variable is that?
Um, wait, what do you mean? Which one's the variable?
So you said it like that. Like the question always tells you. I call this call to action. It's always, that's what it's asking for. It's referring to one of these letters. So I want you to,
Oh,
if you're not sure, read it one more time and tell me which letter it's referring to.
oh, letter C.
So C is the density of in grams per cubic centimeter of copper.
Oh, okay.
And just to be clear, they tend to use like reasonableness, like they're not choosing odd letters most of the time.
Okay.
Okay, so the zinc, they're using the letter N for.
Okay.
Now, probably what's confusing is there's just a lot of like redundancies here. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's always good to start with that question first and then rework it from the beginning. What is the value, since you're solving for N, what is the value of C in this problem?
Um, oh, 8.96.
Yes. Okay, so put that value in for C and solve for N.
Okay. I got 7.16.
I agree. Yeah. There's nothing really difficult about this problem. It's really just a reading comprehension, but it's very deceptive. There's, the kind of because we're at least a native language speaker, we have a chance here. But again,
Mhm.
like I think the main thing is to keep in mind that they tend to use the letters of variables that kind of sync up nicely with the letters with the variables. So it's not like if you're talking about copper, they're going to use you know I don't know, A. That wouldn't
Mhm.
make any sense. So
Okay.
just keep that in mind. Um, all right, so here's another kind of one of these types of questions. See if we can get you to work this one out completely on your own. Certainly be good if you can ask questions if you need to for this one. It's kind of the same style of question though. It's really saying, I'm going to give you a couple of the variables and you have to figure out which one is missing and then solve for the one that's missing, or use the answers in this case if you want. So I'd like you to read this and tell me which, because there's really three variables: the G of T, the T, and the C. Which two of the three are they giving you when you look at this question?
Um, they're giving you wait, the temperature.
Which letter though? Which are they giving you? G of T, T, or C? There's three unknowns here.
Uh, is it just T?
They are giving you T. What is the value of T?
T is 90.
Good. Now they have to give you one of the other ones because if they don't, you can't solve this. It's impossible. Okay. But I assure you they're giving you one of the other ones. And if, again, if you're kind of not sure, that's where you gotta um, just look real closely at what each one represents.
Um, is G of T 350?
Yes. Okay, very good. So why don't you um, solve this um, for C, or you can use the answers, like meaning like you can use the answers for C to determine which one it is, or you can solve it directly. It's up to you. But go ahead and give that a try, please. How are you doing on this one?
I'm almost done. Is it letter C 60?
It is not. It actually works out perfectly. This is one of those that really gets in there. So again, like there's kind of two choices, right? You can either set the left side equal to 350, get the right side. So 5 times 7 times 90 minus 12c over 2 minus 25. So there's two approaches here. Did you try the numbers or did you solve this directly for C?
I tried to solve it directly.
Okay, so let's try the numbers. Okay, there's another technique here we can talk about, which I think is really cool, but it's not it's better on the ACT, but let's try A. Okay, and let's have you put the answer for A in for C. So if you got a calculator, it's 5 over 2, 7 times 90 minus 12 times 20 minus 25. Could you calculate that for us, please?
Mhm. 950.
Yes. Okay. Now I want you to do the same calculation, but this time I want you to put in 60 for C. So B, the only thing that changes here is it's 12 times 60 minus 25.
I got negative 250.
Yes. Okay. So this approach, and it you might not quite understand what we're doing, but like I know that the answer is B. Okay. So why did I have you choose A? Well, A gives you a number that's too large. Remember, we want it to be 350. C gives you an answer that's too small. So we know that the correct answer must be right in the middle. Now, this works better on ACT because there's 5 choices, and you generally test like B and D to see if like one's too small or too large. But you can see that it does work here. Like it's probably better to substitute in answers rather than solving it, because if you make any mistakes at all solving, you don't know where to go. Whereas when you try an answer, you get some information out of it.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've got some more problems here. I just I'll give you the option here to either test the answers or directly solve it. And
Okay.
I'm not opposed to one or the other. They're both good solutions here. Before you do that though, decide, are you given D, are you given M, and then you're solving for the other one in this case.
Okay. Is it letter B?
Letter B here. So which are they giving you in the problem? Are they giving you D or M?
They gave you letter D.
Yeah. Now, in full disclosure, I actually did not read this problem at all. I know I have the advantage of seeing a lot of these problems, but I know that D probably is 3 days, probably D. And so I use that stuff to my advantage here because, this is about doing more questions right and not worrying about little details. But yeah, so 20 times 3 plus 0.7 times M equals 235. And so you can solve it directly or try the answers, but yeah, that sure does look correct. Okay, so this one's these are slightly easier than the ones that we did before, but they're the same types of problems. Let's do a couple more here. Are you solving it or are you trying the answers?
Um, for this one, I solved it.
Okay, and that's a decision you make based on the complexity of solving it. You'll probably end up solving this one. So go ahead and give this one a try, please.
Um, letter B under 40.
How confident are you in your answer?
I'm pretty confident.
Okay, so the $2,000 is the cost. And are they giving you X or Y in this problem?
Letter Y.
Yes. So 4 times 150. So uh the 600, and then yeah, it's definitely letter B. Good. Okay. So the next, I guess we should move on to the other. I was going to give you one more with two variables, but I think you've got it down. So the next type of problem I want us to look at is one where they don't give you the formula, but the formula is encoded into the words. Like the words tell you the formula. And before I mention that, oh, you need to know that distance is rate times time. The formula in this you probably know from chemistry, but they do tell it to you. They are giving you the formula.
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead and take a look at this one. See if you can come up with the equation. If let me know the equation, and then we'll see if we can work the problem out from there. Can you tell me the formula?
Um, T equals M over V.
Yes. And that's something you learned in chemistry, but then this isn't a chemistry test. they're giving you the formula, and you don't even need to write this. You have to know the relationship between them though. Okay.
Mhm.
So it says, what is the volume in milliliters of an object with a mass of 24 grams and a density of 3 grams per milliliter? They're giving you two of the three. They always have to give you everything but one. Which two are they giving you in this?
They give you M and D.
Okay, so which is D? What's the value of D?
D is 3 grams.
And M is 24. You can solve it, or you can maybe look at the answers and say, oh, I got it. I know that it must be what's the value of V?
Letter B, 8.
Yes, very good. Okay, so they sometimes give you a slightly more complicated formula. We'll look at this one. I think we'll probably look at this one together if I could find it. These are all over the place. Here we go. So just seeing these questions, you start realizing, oh, they're not as hard as they appear because they're giving you the formula. Okay. Like this one says here, the current density in a wire is defined as the current in milliamperes flowing through the wire divided by, okay, see how they're giving you an equation right there? The current density, sorry, my screen is just lagging here a little bit. So the current density, and if you don't have, you don't know what letter to use, just like D. Okay, it's the current flowing through the wire. So if you're not sure what letter to use for current, you could use like C, but that's, I mean, it's not the correct physics one, but it doesn't really matter. Divided by the cross-sectional area, maybe call that A. I'm just pausing here until my screen responds. I don't know why this happens. Okay, is that okay so far?
Mhm.
All right, now the rest of the question, starting here, I want you to read it and decide which of the three values they're giving you.
They give you, let's see, the cross-sectional area is 6,
Okay, I agree.
and the current is 15.
So letter C is 15.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's a small distinction. Current density and then current, they are different. I don't remember. I know you took physics. I don't know if this was covered in there. But nevertheless, like they give you the formula. It's not a complicated formula. It's just division.
Mhm.
So that like you don't, and sometimes like we tend to overcomplicate it. There's really only two answers that this could be: 90 or 2.5. It's either 15 times 6 or 15 divided by 6, or I guess it could be 6 divided by 15. Okay, so maybe that one as well. All right, but
Mhm.
you can get this down, and if you just spend a little time inspecting the words, you're like, oh, it's those two numbers divided, and then it's not that one, so you're down to at least two answers. This one though is 2.5, letter B.
Okay.
So if they give you an equation, just to kind of summarize here, because we're basically out of time here for today.